LiveTraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. I'm here with the wonderful Christian Schmitz, who has very graciously decided to step in this for us today. Our other presenter is currently ill, and we reached out to him last moment, and he was awesome enough to go like, yeah, let's do a Monkeybread Q&A. So thank you very much for coming, seriously. It's greatly appreciated. Speaking of which, let's look at the live training schedule real fast so we know what we're doing. So today's going to be a MBS plugin open Q&A. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be set, use, and transfer variables with Nick Hunter. Thursday might be FileMaker charts the speed of AI. And Friday, I believe we're still doing the 20 free FileMaker MBS functions to change your development. So there is a list of 40 free functions, and Christian is going to be covering those over the course of 2 days and 2 weeks. As a general rule, RCC does not recommend plugins. Or rather, if we're going to recommend a plugin, we have used it a lot, and it's been well used by our engineers, and Richard is really confident in its ability to do what it can do. Christian Schmitz makes the Monkeybread plugin, which is frankly indispensable. It has over 7,200 functions. It does so much. We have covered it many, many, many times on the stream. We'll continue covering it because we still have pretty much only scratched the surface in a lot of ways. It is fantastic. It's got, I legitimately, if you have like, man, I wish FileMaker could do this, you should probably go look at this plugin and pick it up. And guaranteed FileMaker can probably do that. Even on like some basic stuff, it has like syntax coloring, automatic variable completion, the ability to search in your relationships. Stuff like that makes life so much easier as a developer. It really is legitimately indispensable. It has a lot of functions that are free, but it's not that expensive, so you should buy it and support Christian so he can keep doing what he does. So, with that being said, Christian, what are we doing today? Or rather, what are we going to discuss first?
Well, do people have questions?
I'm going to let them. I don't see any questions off the top of my head. I know that Richard wanted to talk about the go-to stuff, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just make a new test database here. Assets. And let's see. So I uploaded a new beta version today. So let me show you a few things. You know, there's this little database management dialog here from FileMaker. And you have relationships, and sometimes you like to place the table occurrences somewhere, somehow. So you may want to use a button here, like arrange to the top or to the left. And a lot of people like to use keyboards instead of mouse. So MBS plugin now adds here a few shortcuts. Someone requested it and said, well, we have the search box here already, so we are in the dialog. We could maybe react to some hotkeys. So let's see. For aligning left, I would use Command, Option, and the left key. So let me pick two, and now Command, Option, left. And you see the menu shortly highlights because the plugin basically simulates a click here and then picks the entry for you.
Oh.
So it's nothing special. And again, the plugin is catching the shortcut because there's nobody else interested in this shortcut. So we put ours on the end of the event queue. Oh no, the event handler sequence. So if the system doesn't want the hotkey, if the FileMaker doesn't want the hotkey, the plugin can pick it up. And I just added this for macOS. I have no idea whether I can do it for Windows.
Well, it is still in beta.
Unlikely, because I would need to control this little widget here, and on Windows there's all custom C++ classes.
Someone is asking if you could make an arrange shortcut for the layout arranges.
Layout. Oh, let's see. Layout engine data. Let's see what we have here. Top, bottom. So let me try them all. See if they work. Yep. So and there are more here. I think distribute. Size selected. So this is Option, Command, Option, Shift, and cursor keys. So let's see what happens if I press a lot of keys. It opens the menu. Oh, they have the same size already. Okay.
Oh, I see. So it's not top width. It's okay.
Yeah.
Got
And maybe, oh, I can't change the height if it's nothing inside. Oh. Okay. But with the width, you can do it. So again, left. Yeah. So some people will like this, some maybe not. I don't know. But if you don't press the keys, nothing will happen. And if you press the key and you have the new plugin, then something will happen. So someone asked about the layout. Let's see. So you have layouts and let's see. So there's arrange, align. So here are shortcuts by FileMaker already.
Ah,
And
so
if I did it
FileMaker already
right,
has them.
it
Got it.
should be the same shortcuts already. So there's none here, but you can add a shortcut if you want with system preferences.
Oh.
So maybe people don't know that. But you can go to system preferences and then visit keyboard. Well, it's a jump for me. So, and there's a button for shortcuts. And here you can have per app. So you go to keyboard and then you go to shortcuts and then you go to app keyboard shortcuts and then you can pick an application. I have a ton of applications here. Let's pick a FileMaker. You pick a menu title. So this would be arrange. And oh, well, I would probably have to use small as this. So, and put in a whatever, a shortcut. And then you save it, and then later you should see it. But I'm not trying it because it's probably not.
Interesting.
I don't
Okay.
So you can define shortcuts on macOS for your own menu commands in all the applications. And I bet there's something similar for Windows available. So someone may look into that.
We have two questions real quick related to this.
Yeah.
So the first one is from Mike. Could you do something to align a whole table occurrence group of the anchor buoy?
What was the question?
Could you do something to align a whole table occurrence group of the anchor buoy?
So you mean if you have several of them?
So if you have like 10 in a row, I guess, maybe?
So if they, so you can align several. Yeah, of course you can align. But the plugin is just clicking for you. So if FileMaker can do it here manually, you can do it with the hotkey. The hotkey is just a shortcut to go and do it quicker without using the mouse.
Got it. There you go. Hopefully that answers the question. If not, let me know. Kind of from Stu, is there a consolidated list of all the shortcuts available in MBS?
Yeah, for next week, we have this 2-day live stream event where we go through all the list of the things here in the MBS plugin. And there should be somewhere a list of all the hotkeys. No, there's not. Well, I could search for it, of course. Which one has it? One of them. Which one could it be?
Looking.
Hide lines, maybe here. No, this is just 3 of them. See, there's a longer list. So, well, I could just look for the list. I think we had a longer list somewhere. So go here on my second screen. I thought I had a longer list. Yeah, here. Search shortcut for script workspace. Yeah, this one. So this has the longer list.
Cool.
So
there you go, Stu. We'll probably be covering this more in detail.
Command F. Yeah, we would probably try them all to see if they are all working.
A live test. A follow-up question from Mike. Oh, he wants to know if you can make it so you could auto, like if you make a table occurrence, it would auto size and auto align to where you want it to be, I guess?
No, I'm sorry, I can't really do anything. So FileMaker draws this whole thing as one big picture.
Hmm.
So for the plugin, this is just one big picture, and we have no idea where these boxes are actually, except if I would do some kind of OCR.
Interesting.
So we had this idea long ago to get a high-res picture of all of them. So, but like have the plugin scroll, take a lot of screenshots, and stitch them together.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work well.
Sometimes it doesn't work out. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So
FileMaker limitations.
I'm trying to develop more things, but I can only show you the working ones.
So basically, the answer is Christian can maybe do it if FileMaker lets him in the future.
Well, maybe someday FileMaker will do some of the things themselves. Then I may have to change the plugin to get out of the way. Like, would be bad if you have here several search boxes. Like, if FileMaker would add a script search, you don't want to have an MBS search
Yes, in the way.
conflicting
Yeah.
it. So
Got it.
So
there's a question from Topcat. Question: lately, I cannot see the steps in my scripts. Only after selecting the line does it become visible. How do I solve this issue? Is that an issue with dark mode?
Yeah, there's a screenshot, and I think we had a blog post about this dark mode mess. Dark mode in FileMaker normally looks like this: black window, white text. Then you can use the plugin to color it, and same in light mode. But then it can happen that you get the mode mixed. So if you have a black window and black text, you are in trouble. The usual thing is to first go to the script workspace preference window in FileMaker. So let's just show this. So here scripts, where is it? View. So on the view menu, there's script workspace preferences, and there is a reset button. And this usually is the first thing to do. And then the second thing is with our plugin, we have this function, syntax coloring factory defaults, to reset the rule set for the plugin to the default rule set. So it could happen that this user has either the FileMaker colors or the MBS colors set incorrectly. Like, let me just show you. Like if I here take script no comment program, the normal color for, let's say I turn this to white, and now here add an if line. Hey. Oh yeah, the MBS colors kick in here. Okay, let me just break the MBS coloring then, or maybe disable it. That's maybe easier. Just disable it here, scripts. So all black and white. Let's go in the preferences again. Why is it? It's not showing in white.
That's weird.
Maybe turn this white. Set field. Pick a field. Oh, no, I can't see the field. Okay. So if you have that, you go to the preferences, you reset it usually to some good colors, and now you start seeing again. Thanks.
Well, let us know if that fixes the issue for you, Topcat.
Yeah, and with a plugin, let's now break it with a plugin. So let's say you define your own coloring rule, MBS, syntax, coloring, add tag. So I would say for scripts, I would say we would like to have the and if, and color should be white. So let's see what it says. Scripts, maybe. What is it? What is it?
Is it script flow?
No, what is it? Is it script step? Okay. So I usually don't do this manually because, well, why should I?
But if it's having an issue acknowledging it, you can force it, do it that way, right?
So, no, it didn't work. I have a color set to work. Yeah, I tried to break it and I failed to break it. Let's try it again. So, script step. And if white that's strange. Why doesn't it pick up the break it? Oh, it does. Okay. The coloring doesn't update. Okay, strange. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. This is live. So factory defaults, we reset it so I don't mess with my colors. Okay, if you have them messed up, please reset them and then it should be fine. Let's talk about something else. So did we have...
We don't have any other questions? You said you were talking about beta stuff?
Yeah, let's go. I have a blog. Here it is. You can see what did we do. We updated DynaPDF, SQL API. We got a new function, fully qualified. Oh, so it's maybe not interesting. We got our hotkeys here. We got a list dialog, okay, a fix. We got our variable check improved. We got a fix there, a fix there. Oh, we got a shuffle function. That may be interesting for some people. So if you have a list of values and you like to randomize them, you can do that in FileMaker. So I have A, B, C, D, E, F, and I can use the shuffle function and get different orders.
That's cool.
Some people tried it with custom functions, but the plugin is usually faster. Especially if you have 1,000 values.
That's interesting.
So,
I don't quite know what you would use that for, but that's just because I don't work in the thing that would use that. That's really cool.
Well, if you happen to run a conference and you do a little giveaway with a raffle.
Oh, that's a cool idea for it.
You may need random entries. Or another thing is when we send out our emails, we randomize the list of the recipients. So we don't hit the same servers quickly one after. So if you have several people with a Google email address, you don't want to hit the Google server and give them 100 emails within 1 second.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Because that would block your spammer. So you want to randomize the order. So you hit the Google server every few minutes, maybe, with another email. So
that's actually a really cool answer to that problem. Also, your guidance of fixing the syntax fixed the issue for Topcat. So we're good on that front.
Okay. So next thing would be, so if you pass the list in FileMaker around as text, you may pass a lot of text. Every function may need to parse the list, find out where the value starts and ends. And so our quick list is faster because we keep the list in memory with an index, and then we can quickly access every item. And so using the quick list is faster in general if you work on the same list a lot of times. And then you can also shuffle the quick list. So
that's what you would use for like that email example, right? Since the email list might not
change.
Yeah,
let's say you have most simple thing for the quick list is just to have get value. Get value in FileMaker can be horrible slow. Because every time get value gets your value, it will start at the beginning and look for where are the new lines starting. And so it has to go through all 1,000 values to get you the 1,001st value. And our plugin just keeps a list in memory with an index on it. So first time we read it, we go through all the values and write down where all the values start. And this way we can quickly access every value easily. Okay.
We have a question. So,
yeah.
is it easy to modify the 365 OAuth example to work with something like 0?
Okay, now the question for me is, what is 0?
I don't know what that is either. So
okay, accounting software. So the thing our example there uses as setup OAuth function, basically. And you can do OAuth with that with every service you like who does OAuth, as long as you can fill in the right parameters. And so you could adapt the example to use OAuth for whatever service you like. This is an older example, I think, for Twitter. And we got one here for Magento. And we have the blog post about doing it for Microsoft email. So maybe we take a look on this example. I mean, nothing to do.
Might as well pull it up since people are curious about
yeah,
it.
where is it? So I have here an OAuth example for Office 365.
Yeah, he wanted the 365, yep.
So let's see. So, well, I have the sample file actually. So if you download the plugin, you get all the example files. So you can do a lot of copy and paste. So this example file, you would need to provide your own client ID, client secret, tenant ID, all the details, and then the OAuth. Well, workflow starts, yeah. So is my coloring enabled? Oh no.
You turned it back off to show. There we go.
That may show why my breaking it didn't work because it wasn't enabled.
Because we turned it off.
yeah.
That happens. It's the nature of being live.
Okay. Let's take a look. So we start authentication. So the first thing is this authentication uses a redirect URL. So it will contact localhost, which is the computer you are on, at a certain port, and will deliver the secret. So we have to listen for the secret. And there our webhook function is very handy. Some people may use some PHP script on a server for that, but we can do it locally within FileMaker. And so the secret never leaves the computer. Yeah. So we set a webhook to receive it. We encode the request. So there's some parameters. And this is all specific to Microsoft first. So you would have to build a similar URL for whatever service you use. Like there's some domain, there's some ID, there's some address where you would do the OAuth. Could be the same, could be different. And then you have to include all the values. Like you have to define which scope you want. Like, do you want to just, in this case, send an email, or also receive an email? Do you want the general account information? And then you provide the redirect URL where to deliver the secret and your client ID and some state value, which you can define yourself, and it gets passed back to you later. So you could have here your own record ID. And then because we want to avoid a warning about having an unsupported browser, we tell our web viewer to act as if it would be some Apple WebKit Safari version 605, whatever that was. But this is macOS 10.15 here, and it's lying about the CPU I have. Okay, I could update that. But we are basically lying about the browser because our web viewer would otherwise just say, well, I'm Mozilla 5 or whatever, and then the website usually complains you are not a supported browser. We load the URL. The user gets the login screen. They can log in. They can grant us a permission. And then the webhook is triggered. And then the first thing you would do is you would inspect what is sent to you. In our case, we pass the URL components, and then we filter out here the request for the favorite icon. So usually if you get a redirect to your webhook, the browser may want to load something, maybe your favorite icon. So we have to ignore that, but the other request usually is then the data. And so we grab the raw data, then clean up our webhook, and even clean up the web viewer. So we load a blank page to remove the login screen. And then we have a script to get the token. And the answer is passed by the plugin. So it's JSON, and we can grab the parameters, the code, the state, our state value. We can get the answer. So we find, what is it? So we got a code. And then we build a new request here and saying, well, it's me again. I got this code, this secret code, and we would like to get our real authentication values. So we build here a new data to send to the server and put in our code, our client ID, our client secret, and send it to the server to ask it to send us back the access token, which is then passed in another script. And I divided that in 3 scripts because I wanted to do every piece of that on its own again and again for debugging. Like, you don't want to run through the whole login process, but once you have an answer, the parsing of the token and getting back the final tokens here, you can repeat that again and again for debugging. And so until you get it right, like we get here an answer, with a token type, a scope, expiration date, maybe interesting. So you can do the thing again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And then we simply remember our access token, our refresh tokens. That's needed later for sending an email, because when we send an email, we have to put in our access token for curl to do the authentication for sending the email. And if the token expires after maybe an hour, we have the refresh token to ask the service to give us a new fresh token. And this should work as long as you don't stop doing it for 3 months. So your token expires, or someone goes on the account and resets the password, and this invalidates all the tokens. So they have to do it again. But in general, this should work fine. And you may take our sample code here, just sample code we give away, and you can modify it for other services. And the difficult thing is usually to get things right. Like if you have a little thing, like you have an extra return here on one of the values, the whole thing doesn't work. If you have here a letter capital, you mean little things, like if it doesn't work, you have to look for the needle in the high stack. You may ask for the wrong scope. You may have something in the calculation incorrect, like when you ask for your final token, if there's some typo here, the whole thing doesn't work. So,
you have any follow-up questions on Core, Andy? Let us know. We do have another question from Stu, which totally changes direction. Can MBS change the icon on a button? I vaguely recall that containers won't display SVGs as images. I thought that the button had no issue displaying.
this icons here. Oh, I don't think we can add them. We can change them. You can, of course, change the text. Oh, yeah. Okay. An emoji works.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah, that's usually where you can display text. You can just take an emoji, like you want to have celebrate a little bit of America. Or Yeah. No.
Stu, can you
So
clarify your
I don't
question?
think you can use thing here like and you may use a button bar. I think you could have a button bar. The button bar has more options, and we can just make it one button bar. Now this is a calculation, so this can come from a field. I just pick a field here. So I have to exit layout mode. And so here, no client ID. And now I can put in something. Hey. This is like, oh, there it is.
Huh.
So I can put a smiley there and change it on the fly with the code. Sometimes in applications, we use a lot of smileys for different things, like the flags for showing the country. Or in one application, I use the envelope to show that the email is sent. Envelope here, like, so you can show the status with a little icon, as long as you can display text, which could also be a calculation. Let me just go here for an example. Oh, there's no missing. Okay. So if you have the addresses, you could have. Hey, where's my layout? Oh. So you may have a quick layout here. Let's say email status. So and then here, like for some emails, you could have put in the text, and so if status is a certain value, you could say it's the email is sent, and other emails get a different emoji as. So you could have all your emails in the list with emojis to show the status.
Interesting. Yeah, Stu's follow-up is I've tried a few different methods of creating navigation. One was to use buttons, but FileMaker doesn't allow changing the icon on buttons. This led me to observe that containers don't display SVGs as images. They look like text.
Yeah, if you have a container and you need you have an SVG.
Oh.
So we can convert that. So if you have your SVG with an icon and you can say which size you want, and the plugin can convert from SVG to a bitmap for FileMaker, and then FileMaker can display it in the container. Otherwise, the trick is usually to have a web viewer show the SVG.
Is that on the fly, or is it done ahead of time by the developer?
Well, if you see, this is a script, a specific script. It creates a picture of a certain size. It can decide if you want to have it transparent or not. And then we tell it read from container, so it will read in the SVG. We tell it it's an SVG. We tell it our size wish. So the size is specified in width x high, so we can render to the size we want into the picture. So we have a picture, and then we say load the SVG into this picture at this size. And then we can maybe set here some DPI values, which is interesting for FileMaker because FileMaker scales it up and down depending on the DPI value, the resolution, and then we write it back to the container. So you can do this on the fly if you have SVG stored somewhere as file or as container. You can just make a picture for a container on the fly. Just have to run a little script or a let statement.
I don't see any other questions at the moment, so we can meander our way back to the list of beta functions, I think.
Do I have something else there on the?
If you don't, then we can try doing that random thing that you suggested earlier, which might be entertaining.
Oh, we have a new context function, and we have some. Oh, we have more things. Oh, let me see. We have a new example here.
Ooh.
Oh, first there's a curl example for window transaction. So I can make a change in this what is it layout, this record, and there's a trigger on window transaction. And this trigger sends our changes, the JSON, to a server, in this case, my web server, and it runs the transfer in the background. So if you want to process changes in your FileMaker database and send them off somewhere for audit logging, you can do that. So you would send it to whatever PHP script you like on your server, or to Data API, to Mongo, to AWS, whatever you like. And because we are sending in the background, the user doesn't have to wait. That's the key thing. So FileMaker triggers this script. This runs in a few milliseconds, and then the transfer's on the way. And if the server takes 5 seconds to process it, no problem. The user doesn't need to wait. And eventually, we can have either a script triggered or an evaluate running. So when the script finishes, the script just puts in the debug messages in the field, and then freeze the curl session. Or you reuse it.
So is this attached to certain fields, or is it constantly running in the background while you meander the database?
No, this is here for FileMaker. I defined for the file a script trigger on window transaction.
Okay, so
whenever there's a change in this file, FileMaker will trigger the script trigger.
Got it. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I use here the special field to collect the data. This is from the example from Claris. So there is a calculation here, gather JSON fields, the custom function, which is available on the Claris website for use. So it just is a little calculation to go over all the fields and collect the field names and the values, and then make one big JSON. And this JSON basically has the data from the fields. So this is sent to the server.
No, this is very cool. Like
Maybe
this makes audit logs much simpler. Well, not as big as performance it either. So if it's happening in the background like that.
Let's just say here we would like the data. Oh no, we have it here. Where's it? Post field. There's the JSON. So let's say we change it. We just put the JSON into the field, which I hope doesn't trigger again. Which that would be bad. Would get us recursive. So let's put a breakpoint. And we can say here, we enable that and disable the script. So the evaluate always has the advantages that it runs right away. So it doesn't, there can be a script running. The plugin says, I have to calculate something, and it will happen now. So no need to wait for a script to run. So let me make a change. Yeah, there we see, there's the JSON. And this is then sent to the server. See the file name, the tables, what's modified, and there's my audit JSON, which contains the values of the table. So let's see, I put in 2 into number field. So here's the old record. So this is the audit JSON before, because we put it in the field, and number field is null. I should not change it live. Okay, everyone may debug it. It should have the right data if you run it. Okay, let's show you something else. So, but the key thing is we can do the curl thing in the background, so the user doesn't need to wait.
Which is very cool.
Otherwise, we may improve this. The next thing is we got new functions for DynaPDF.
Always entertaining.
Yeah, there's a new parser function which allows us to loop over text. And because we have an explicit parser object here, we can loop over the text, and we can find all places where a certain text is on a page. and we can replace the text.
That's cool.
And the old functions we had just find text on a page, did it only once. So the new functions here are made to loop over all the text on the page and make changes, and then finally write the text back to the file. So I can just take something here and run it. Let's see. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but the definitions here was changed. Let me just take another thing. So we have here the help document for DynaPDF, which has about 800 pages. So let's say a text which is very often is maybe PDF. So let's say this is naughty and not safe for work. So let's place. So, and you see
that's insane. That was 800 pages.
So, but there already takes longer to display. I can export it, open it. Yeah. So here, Dyna XXX.
Oh, did it only do the first page? Or did you only drop in the first page?
Now we have to check. Oh, sorry.
You're
okay. Import wall file. Click it. 1, 2.
That's still that was basically instantaneous.
So again, it takes probably longer to render this preview than to. So let's go 2 pages down. Okay, where do we see an XXX? Did it not work?
Did it not parse through?
Let's see. It always passes up. So if it's too quick, it's probably that it didn't do all the work. So let's make a quick loop here. MBS DynaPDF get page count $PDF. So we ask for how many pages we have. We loop over the pages from 1 until we are bigger. Now let's copy and paste the whole thing here into it. And now it may take longer. Let's see. Still quick.
It was still very quick. So we'll have to see what happens.
Okay. Third try. So do you see an XXX or a PDF? There didn't happen. So, okay. Maybe we should change the page number here. This is all live.
Well, yeah, no, this is live and it's also beta, so.
Now we are doing actual work. You see, every time we change something, it takes longer because it does more of the actual work.
Yes.
So let me scroll down 100 pages and see. So they're here.
Render page.
Yeah.
But that was still basically instant, though.
Yeah, we can measure it, of course. We can say
we
here.
Can measure it.
Yeah, don't want to measure the rendering. So let's say the script is starting. Oh, it also has logging enabled. Okay. Okay. It will continue to log. But let's say we need a start time is how to get current time. Current. I may need microseconds, milliseconds. Maybe take milliseconds. This takes more than a second. So let's see, after save or before save. I don't know.
Well, we'll figure it out.
So dialog. No, not dialog. So let's see, $end time. Yeah, $end time minus $start time. Time 1, 2, 3, 4,170 for 800 pages. So it's maybe 5 milliseconds per page.
And PDF is a lot. So
okay. So we are going to extend this over the next weeks and months. Like we had this idea, if we find text, we would like to get the position of the text. And once we have the position on the page, we could maybe draw a rectangle around the text or a highlight annotation, or maybe put a link on it. So once you have the position, you can do more. So,
which again, so the the floodgates of potential is opening.
yeah, another thing is you can pass here flags for optimize. So let's just go to the documentation, which is here. The optimize flag. So this internally uses the same parser as our optimize command. And so it has the capabilities to do things like scaling images or flattering layers, removing private data, thumbnails, convert all the pictures to RGB or CMYK, or change all the text later to outlines. So then the text is a graphics and you can't copy and paste it anymore. So it can do quite a lot of things.
Yeah, that's substantial.
And the parser functions are coming and they will do much more over time. Okay, do we have any questions about that in PDF?
Not at the moment. Just a thank you from Andy from answering the earlier question about 365. So
okay, then let's maybe talk about patching JSON. Let's say you have a little JSON. Let's go to the data viewer. So you have a JSON block before and after. And you can ask the plugin, what's the difference? So the plugin tells you to come from the first to the second, you have to replace the entry here from people array, first entry, and field named first. New value is Peter. Then you remove the entry named last. Okay, this last. And you add a new entry, zip. So you get a div for your JSON and can see what changed from one version to another.
That's really cool. That I imagine would help a lot with like bug testing or like, what did I accidentally delete?
Yeah, or think about data API. You could query the record before as JSON. You can then compare to the record after. A little bit diff. But once you have the diff, we also have a patch method. You can apply back the diff. So we get this little calculation here. So we have the before, we have the after, we calculate our diff, and we apply the diff, and then we get back the output like we should be. So JSON1 is the input. So you see the city and last. Then we get here the diff, and the diff says, okay, add a zip. So let's see, on the final version here, we have a zip. And the last entry is gone.
That's cool.
So this allows you to make a diff for some JSONs. Like you could say, you could make this diff yourself. You could just say, I want to add a certain entry to a certain JSON, and then run through maybe 1,000 JSON objects and just apply the same diff to them to add some entries. Like, let's just modify this. Let's say we take this and we take this and we say that JSON1 is patched. So let's make a live example, that's dangerous, live. So let's say we take here this instructions, copy paste. So I have to add the slashes, a lot of slashes. But when the slashes are correct on the end, I should have no more syntax error. So I just made it myself. Yeah. And I get here, that's a patch. So this is the final one.
That's very cool.
So I know I can modify it and say, I don't want to have a zip here. This should be maybe in the people 2 and the next one. Oh, there is no entry 1. So let's say we write test here. First, last, city. Hey, does it work at all?
Is it mad about something?
Probably. Let's see. So patch is defined as an array. Let's see here on the background. So it's an array of operations, and operation is add. So I probably have some kind of syntax error.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in all the endless slashes required.
Yeah. I should not make live demonstrations.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's always cool to see live return JSON 3. Oh, there needs to be return after JSON 3 is what they're saying?
Oh, I return the input, yeah. To return the output.
There we go. See?
Okay, so we got test, and so can I make one? This doesn't work because index 1 doesn't exist. So I would have to make an add operation probably first to add an entry there, and would have to look up the syntax because okay. So you can build those on the fly and just put in whatever value you like, and then you can run them and apply whatever changes you like to the patching.
Again,
Which
that's very cool.
Which you also could if you just use our place function. We have a JSON replace function.
Well, there's multiple ways to approach the problem.
Yeah, but this patch things and merge things are new for the next version of the plugin.
Yeah, so this is all the stuff you can look forward to getting in your goodie bag when you update. So there's one last question I think to ask, and then we can move on. Someone's asking, how do they update the plugin? We always get this one. So
update the plugin?
Yes.
Well, you go to if you have the plugin.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question is, do you want to do it manually or do you want to automate it? So for manually, you just download it from our website. So we have the archives here. This one is notarized with Apple, so it's for Mac. And we have one for Windows and Linux. Both have the same content. And then you get all the files here. And there's a plugin file. And in FileMaker, you can usually say settings, and then you can sell plugins, and you can say reveal, and you get where the plugin folder is. And FileMaker has several plugin folders, so you can take the version-specific one or the one for all the versions. And just go up, delete that, and delete that. So delete the old folders there. So usually, there's also old. So usually you can put it in the version-specific folder, or you can put it in the general folder. So it's also old. So I have to do cleanup here. So you have here MBS FM plugin in the extension folder, and this is the folder for all the FileMaker version, because our plugin can be used with all the FileMaker versions. We don't care if you have 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 is there, 19, 20, or whatever comes next. So if you manually install it, you would go in the download, you would say, oh, I need the Mac plugin, or I need the Windows plugin, and then copy it over, replace the old plugin, and then restart FileMaker, and it should load the new plugin. If you don't like to do it manually, because you maybe have 100 computers, well, if you have 100 computers, you probably have someone who could install it manually, but
let's say we didn't want them to spend all that time.
Yeah, then you would basically make a database like this one here, for example. This is our sample database here to say we have a certain version installed. We have here containers where you can add the versions you like to give to people. So the thing is always, you install it first for yourself. You try all your things, see if something changed in the plugin, if something breaks. Sometimes things change, like there may be a new parameter to a function. You may have passed something there accidentally, and now it has actually a meaning. Yeah, things like that happen. I add a parameter to a function, So people used to pass something. And so we put in the plugin. We can say this is here the Mac version. We can put in Windows 64-bit, usually 64-bit, unless you still have an older FileMaker, a Linux version. There we actually have two. We have the ARM version. Don't mix them. Gives you trouble. Then we have scripts here. So there's an install MBS plugin script. So if you have a bigger solution in your company, you could maybe have a little check in your start script and say, let's ask FileMaker for installed plugins, like something like get installed FM plugins. Does it contain the text MBS? So you would say, you would have maybe a start script, and your start script says if get installed plugin, position, of course, of MBS, 1 is 0, and then you would run the script to install the plugin, because you may have a user without a plugin and you don't want that. You could, of course, also add a check for maybe FileMaker Go, so you don't do that in FileMaker Go because there's no plugin in FileMaker Go.
There you go.
Yeah, then this script will check the architecture and the platform, and then decide which plugin file could we need. So like, is it Mac? Then we use the Mac container. If it's iOS, there's nothing to do, because on iOS, you either have FileMaker Go without a plugin, or you have the FileMaker iOS SDK where you put the plugin in your app. So there's nothing to update because it's already in the app. Then if you have platform 4, which is WebDirect, you have to actually decide yourself, because FileMaker doesn't tell you if your server is Windows, Linux, or Mac. So we use plugin functions here to install the right plugin file. On Linux, we have to decide whether we take the Intel or the ARM version. Mac server, then here CentOS, that's the older one. There's Ubuntu, again, newer FileMaker server for server scripting. We can take the Intel or the ARM version. On Windows, there's also 64-bit or 32-bit. If we get some new platform, like if the script someday runs on a new platform, we would just exit. And we called install plugin files, so we have to check for the last error messages. There's a ton of things that can go wrong. And when it works, we check here, we ask the plugin, what's your version compared to the version we want? And then either we decide, yeah, it worked, you can use the plugin, or here you need to restart FileMaker because, well, we installed the new plugin, but the old one is still running. Which is an error you can avoid by renaming the plugin files. So FileMaker has trouble if the old and the new file is the same name. So we often recommend people to just like put the version in the file name, and then drop it in. And this way, you can avoid some trouble with FileMaker not being able to overwrite the plugin file, or
figure out what's going on. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a script to check if an update is needed, which we may better, so from the start script, we may actually better run the check script first before we install it. And the check script here, this actually queries a plugin version. And if the version is just a question mark, there's no plugin installed. So can we install it? And we ask the user. As the user says, yeah, it's fine. I have time now to troubleshoot if something goes wrong, So they just install it. And we have a couple of people with SPA solutions. They install the plugin on thousands of computers. This usually works. But it can go wrong because we have humans, and humans have strange things like configurations. Like recently, I had a customer complaining me that the plugin was not loaded. He had the plugin in one extension folder, but he had an older version in the other folder. You never know which version will load of both. So you install the update and you restart FileMaker and you still have the old version, then you may have 2 copies of the plugin.
There you go. Common, well, not common, but definitely an issue I could see happening very easily. So
Yeah. So, and we have the whole bootstrap thing where you actually can load a JSON file which contains the URLs where to get the plugins. And this may help you to automate it.
with that being said, I think we're probably good to wrap up. Thank you very much, Christian. Today has been
And we
very
still haven't
informative.
done what Richard said,
I know,
which was to go to. So go to here, go to the end and click on it, and then put your comment on the end, and then here say see also, go to what was it, start, and see function in line 20 where you would just get all this URLs to click to, like go to start, go to the end. Hey, come jump. Hey, wait, don't jump. So jump to 20.
Which again is very cool.
Yeah.
I can see why Richard was so excited about this.
But we can talk about that next week on Friday.
Yes. Yeah, we can do it. We can do another Friday. We could talk about it more. He should be around that Friday, I think. So he can actually be there to see his own request. Yeah, NJ's like, great work. No, seriously, thank you very much, Christian. Today was awesome. I'm going to run the end credits. Y'all have a lovely weekend. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!